Skinner makes contact with him. About that time, he gets hit in the right rear. Matt?
Oh, trouble. Jeremy Mayfield, the race leader. Caution flag is out. Right front on Mayfield's Dodge, all torn up. And he's going to go from the lead to out of the Budweiser shootout.
Wow, man, he hit that hard, didn't he?
Man, what happened there? Marty, you tell us?
He just came on the radio, said, I just got loose. I got loose.
Wow.
Jimmy Johnson keyed the mic and said, Chad, the tire is flat. This caution came at the best time possible. They are going to change those tires. It could be a pretty good advantage. Do you think, Wally, fresh tires at this juncture?
Oh, I would think so, especially the guys that are on 2 right now. I think I'd come back in and get those other 2.
Jeremy Mayfield has brought his car to pit road and is turning it behind the wall.
That was Dave Blaney.
Blaney got some damage when Mayfield bounced off the wall.
Yep.
And so he's going to the garage as well.
Well, that's too bad.
All right, what happened to the race leader, Jeremy Mayfield, off turn number 2?
Oh, you see, we talked about it earlier. You have somebody right on your right rear quarter panel, takes the air off the car you're driving, and hang on. Especially when you're on just 2 tires, BP.
And that's one reason we won't see many 2-tire stops in the Daytona 500, because you just can't control the thing.
You need that grip on the outside. See, watch him slide up. A little bit loose there. Wow, what a shot.
Yeah. He hit right at that
gate.
Right at the gate, the crossover gate there.
And look at all that debris flying around. Everybody should stop and change tires, because they might have a flat.
Why not?
Well, if they do, that works into the hands of the guys that just stopped.
They're all around. Stay wide behind you. The road's coming behind you. They're all around.
There's that crossover we were talking about, hit right at the guardrail and where the concrete comes together.
And that is a piece of Jeremy Mayfield's right front fender.
I think it's his door.
Wedged in there.
Fender door, yeah.
All right, here we got Jeff Gordon in.
And let me retract or correct something I said a second ago. Those guys that stopped right when the caution came out, they pitted while pit road was closed. So these guys have nothing to lose by coming in, getting fresh tires. Those other guys will still have to start behind him. Dave?
Jeff Gordon is in. They are going to change 4 tires again and make another track bar adjustment to Jeff's car. They're going to change all 4. Car's actually reported pretty good by Jeff, so just a slight adjustment for him. They've been chasing loose all night with this car.
And a big break for Jeff. He needed that to catch back up to the group.
Oh,
he was
right.
6-7 seconds behind the leader.
Exactly. He was out of it.
Yep. McMurray back in a second time, top of the screen.
And Schrader was out of it as well. He's back in the race.
Bill?
Yeah, Alan, Tony Stewart is one of those cars that pitted too early, but he had no choice. Felt he ran over something after the crash, so he had to come down pit road as soon as he could. So had problems with the tire, obviously. So he's got 4 fresh ones, but we'll restart at the rear.
That's right, Bill. And if he would have stayed out there with that damage, that tire could have come apart. And if that tire came apart, even while you're under the yellow, it will tear the fenders and the hood and everything off your car.
So the guys that pitted before the pit lane were include Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, and Tony Stewart. Mayfield and Dave Blaney have gone to the garage. Now on pit road this time, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Gordon, Bill Elliot, Sadler, Ken Schrader, and McMurray again. So Ryan Newman is the leader. Kevin Harvick is second, Mike Skinner third, Terry Labonte fourth. Now Dale Jr. is up to fifth, and the field is going to be brought down pit road and stopped so that the debris and damage to that backstretch crossover gate can be repaired before the race resumes.
So we're going to red flag this thing.
Yeah, remember, these caution flag laps do count in this, so we don't want to deprive the fans of a good finish. So they're going to bring the field down pit road, stop them, and put out the red flag while they clean up all the debris around the racetrack and over at that turn 2 exit gate.
Let's take one more look and see if we can see anything we might not have seen. We see the red flag about to be displayed. Jeremy Mayfield, the 19 car, Blaney in the 23. You're right. the 23 just takes all that air off the rear spoiler. He loses that downforce on the rear, loses control. And when you do that, you've got to go up the hill, chase the car up the hill to try to save it. And when you do, there's another car there. Into him he ran. He probably could have saved it if the 23 car had not been there.
Right. But he probably wouldn't have gotten loose if the 23 hadn't been there.
We talk about loose. There you see the back end coming around. He chases it up the hill, right in the side of the 23. Now here's where he gets turned into that crossover gate in turn 2.
Now this is something that.
What was that?
I'm monitoring NASCAR race control, actually. There was something that confused me about where they stopped the cars, and they've just corrected it now.
Look at a rotor back there flying.
On board Mark Martin first. Now, under the rules for this race, if a red flag comes out, teams are allowed to work on the cars. They stopped the cars short of their pit stalls. Now they're going to allow the cars to go to their pit stalls. So while they clean the track up, these guys get to work on their cars and try and tune them up for the final sprint to the finish.
Big break for the Jimmy Johnson car and a big break for the 42 car. Jamie McMurray has body damage.
All right, Matt.
Jeremy Mayfield climbed from his car. Sounds like you chased it, but couldn't catch it.
Ran out of real estate there. You know, our Dodge was it's fast and just loose. I couldn't run very good traffic, and just flat lost it. You know, just running hard, trying to go forward, and ran out of room. It's pretty. You know, I told him all night it was pretty free. We gambled, took 2 tires. You know, and it may have worked out, it may not have. But our Dodge dealer, JW Dodge, was fast. Just couldn't hang on to it.
4, Wally.
Yeah, it's when you're loose to begin with too, and you only take 2, that's just gonna make a driver's job a lot tougher because 2 tires.
Shootout wins.
Jarrett has got to make that car really wide right now.
He's trying.
Oh, Ryan Newman turned into the wall.
Jamie McMurray?
No caution yet.
They will race back to the line, and the caution will come out. Here they come to the line.
Dale Jarrett trying to block Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Make it wide.
Jr. looking low.
No way.
Not going to happen. Budweiser shootout winner number 3 for Dale Jarrett.
Good stuff.
All right, now tell the spotters, tell them to slow down.
Boy, after a rotten year last year, this has got to make those guys feel really good.
It really does. But, you know, in testing here in January, the Yates cars showed some speed. In practice today, they showed some speed.
A lot of new members on the 88 team. And Dale Jarrett is going to take them all to victory lane in their inaugural run of 2004, the Budweiser Shootout. Matty.
1 new member is actually an old member. Who said you can never go home again, Mike? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's glad to be back. You know, that's the DJ I remember, and you know, it kind of hurt my heart the last couple of years to see him run the way he does. Good of people as they are here. You know, I'm just glad to be back. Happy for these guys. Got a lot of talent here. You know, we're looking forward to racing hard from here out.
This has to raise your expectations for next Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we made some decisions. We were planning on bringing this car for the 500 and made some changes to another car and felt like, you know, it was a little better than this car. So we'll wait to see. You know, qualifying's tomorrow. We had a good run in practice today. Elliot was good as well. So, you know, we're looking for a pole for the 500 tomorrow, and, you know, this is just great. Happy to be back.
Mike Ford was a big part of the 88 team. He left to go to Bill Elliott's, and now he's back home in victory lane.
The last 2 times Dale Jarrett won, well, the 2 times that Dale Jarrett won the Budweiser Shootout, he went on to win the Daytona 500 the following weekend. The last lap, mayhem down the backstretch. Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, center of the screen.
It looks like you see Ryan Newman up there on the left-hand side, and he just goes to turn left, and he turns over the fender of Jimmy Johnson. He loses it a little bit and turns back into Jamie McMurray, which turns him into the wall. It's a chain reaction.
Tell you what, it sure looks like that 19 car of Jeremy Mayfield, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And with such a small field for this race, the cars by the spinning cars and nobody coming in from behind, so NASCAR did not put out the caution flag and end the race right there. They let them come back around.
And you got to look at these cars, guys. People, you have to remember, these cars are literally on the edge all the time, even on the straightaway. So it's just a little bit of contact with another car cause a lot of trouble.
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. tried to chase Dale Jarrett over those final couple of laps for the win, came up one spot short.
Chase him, he did, Alan, and
The body after that, yellow. Oh, trouble off turn 2.
That could
Right
be
front
the
tire, Scott
right
Riggs.
front. Yep.
You see, you knew that somebody was going to lose a right front and give everyone else a break.
Because those cars, all of those guys look like they're tight. They all moved to the top of the racetrack, and we still had 8 or 9 laps before they were going to pit.
And now, if they pit now, they're going to have to run about 30 laps. They're going to really be sitting on pins and needles those last 10 laps.
All right.
So caution out for the first time today. Comes out at lap number 22 for Scott Riggs, who was running in 18th place and had trouble off of turn number 2 in the 10 car.
So all these cars will dive on the pit road next time and make those much needed adjustments. And I think some of those cars are overheating, Wally, because the ambient temperature is warmer today. They use tape on the grill so they only allow so much air to go through to cool the radiator. It's been 210 degrees. As the ambient temperature goes up, so does the water temperature inside the car. They got to get some of that tape off, which will hurt their handling.
Right, that's right, because when you take the tape off the front, you open up that grill more, and it takes downforce off the front of the car. So, yes, BP, that's going to make these cars push even more.
Check out what happened to Scott Riggs, top of the screen.
He was
in the corner.
Yeah, way up there, in between 1 or 2.
That might be a situation. Someone was talking about getting loose going in the corner. You know, it may be he got the car loose. It certainly looked like a right front tire, but we'll find out. Just one of our crack pit reporters. We'll find out in just a moment. Matt.
BP, he was complaining the car had a terrible tight condition. He tried to go to the high side to help the car out, but it just wasn't enough, obviously.
Riggs with the 29th fastest time in last Sunday's qualifying, 24th in owner points this team was from last season, so he's pretty safe to be in the 500 on Sunday. But from the looks of that car, they may have to find the backup car.
Matt, did Scott say anything? Did he just go up and the car push into the wall, or?
Still checking on that part of the conversation, Wally. Right now, they're just concerning themselves with trying to fix that right front fender.
Tony Stewart has just had a problem in NASCAR Nextel Cup Series final practice. He was running the high side in turns 3 and 4. He ran out of room.
Starting to go by the 1 car on the outside there. We see John Andretti, and Andretti comes up the hill to block Tony, force him behind him, and guess what? Tony moved up the track, and there was the wall, and he's got fairly significant damage to the right side of that 20 car.
Another look at it there. And then that car wiggles when it comes off the wall, and Tony makes a nice job to catch it. Nice save there. They were all stacked up there. Kane, McMurray.
The 9 and 42 car, they do a pretty good job of missing Tony Stewart.
Yep.
They turned under him.
Yesterday in practice, Tony and John kind of got tangled up as well.
Touched John in the left rear, and John did a nice job saving the car.
And now it's our pleasure to welcome the President of the United States, George W. Bush, to the Daytona 500. Welcome, Mr. President.
I am really glad to be here. If you've never been to a Daytona 500, it's hard for me to describe what it's like to be down here with the drivers and to see the huge crowd and to feel the excitement for one of America's great sporting spectacles.
Well, there are 200,000 people here and millions more watching on television.
Yeah.
They took the day off from work, so we'll make this a race-related conversation
Well, I
instead
appreciate
of a
that.
work-related conversation. You've been to some great sporting events, including throwing out the first pitch at the World Series after 9/11. Can you tell us about that experience, sir?
Well, that was one that happened, you know, when the Yankees were helping to lift the spirit of the New York citizens, and I walked out there, and the chants of the crowd were loud, and it was just an exciting moment. It was a historic moment for me personally, because it was after such tragedy. I was a little nervous about getting my fastball over the plate.
Well, you did a great job. You've been to the Salt Lake Olympic Games, to the Army-Navy game. How does this compare?
Well, this is huge. This covers a lot of territory. You know, the track is big, the expanse is big. There's people in the infield. There's people who've been camping out here. This is more than an event. It's a way of life for a lot of people, and you can feel the excitement when you're here. And I'm really looking forward to watching a lot of the race.
Now, in December, you had several drivers to the White House. You allowed them to park their cars on the grass.
I did.
Very nice of you, sir.
Well, it takes a special person to be allowed to be parking on the grass there at the White House. But it's neat to meet these drivers. They're courageous people. They know no fear, and yet they're in good shape. They're well conditioned in order to stay in these small little cars for as long as they do. And obviously got great reflexes. And so in meeting them, I was meeting some great athletes.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor that Tony Stewart asked for a presidential pardon after his tough season?
Well, he came in as the champ. He wasn't asking for any pardons. He was asking for a photograph, and I was happy to pose with him because he was the champ. And I saw him. I needled him when I came by, because he's got, sometimes you get a reputation when you're in public life. But he's a good, solid citizen, a good fella.
Your motorcade moves pretty fast. Any desire to ride in one of these, sir?
Well, I'd like to, but I'm afraid the agents wouldn't let me. I flew fighters when I was in the Guard, and I like speed. And it would have been fun to drive up on these banks. People don't understand how steep these banks are, though, till you see them in person. And I was with Bill Elliot, who was telling me that he set the course record here at 210 miles an hour. I can't imagine taking a bank at 210 miles an hour.
All 5 branches of the armed services represented here this weekend on the track, and I know that's important to you, sir.
Well, it is, and one of the things about NASCAR and the NASCAR fans is they support our military. We've got a lot of really good young men and women who are sacrificing for our country. And these fans and the people of the France family and the drivers, they stand with our military, and for that I'm grateful. I'm the commander-in-chief of a great group of people, and to know that citizens who support NASCAR support them makes me feel good.
I know you're a sports fan, and I know you had ownership interest in the Texas Rangers.
Right.
The big news is A-Rod going to the Yankees.
Yeah, I was just as surprised as the Yankee fans and the Boston Red Sox fans when I opened up my paper today. It obviously is a big deal, and it looked like the deal's going to happen. At least the sports pages said they were close to concluding the deal. A-Rod's a great player, and the Yanks are going to be a heck of a team with him in the infield.
Mr. President, it's truly an honor. Thank you for attending the Daytona 500. Enjoy your day.
Thrilled to be here.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Back upstairs to Alan.
Okay, Bill. Back live at Daytona. Trouble getting to pit road. We talked about it earlier. Bobby the Body is out in the grass while the rest of the leaders come to get service. Marty.
Michael Waltrip said, free me up just a little bit. I'm a little bit tight. Bobby the Body pulls in his stall safely behind him. Half a pound on the right front, Dave.
Tony Stewart's car was a little loose on entry, but pretty neutral. They decided to make no chassis changes for fresh tires and fuel for Tony. Bill?
Earnhardt Jr. chasing the car at both ends, but he said no changes. Wanted to make sure he pitted with the 20, Matt.
A great stop by Jimmy Johnson's crew. A chassis adjustment. His car was tight on lane exit. 4 tires.
Boy, going to cost Bobby Labonte. We talked about it earlier. Getting on a pit lane. So tough to get the car wound down sometimes without locking up the front tires.
He's kind of cut out of the herd at this point with no drafting help. Kevin Harvick is the new leader. Here comes Sterling Marlin and some others to pit road. There's Harvick. Check out that rush to pit road again. Watch Bobby Labonte.
And the pylon that I talked about earlier that you got to be between, he cleaned that pylon out, just ran right over it. Said, okay, I can make my pit. Let me go across pit road here.
That's a long way to the pit.
Dave?
Elliot Sadler is in.
Trouble, turn 4. Got a car into the wall. Derek Cope.
Oh, there's that yellow they didn't need.
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. Oh. The junior stays on the lead lap.
Caution flag is out. The 1990 Daytona 500 winner has hit the wall up in turn 4.
Well, great break for Harvick, Gordon, and boys.
Let's see. Tony Stewart, Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, They're all going to stay on the lead lap. Michael Waltrip as well. Here he comes. And there he goes. Crunch.
Can't tell what caused that.
Hey, what that's luckily a one-car accident with this pack of cars coming up behind him.
He lost it way up there.
Well, he just who's that he bounced off of? Might have been Scott Riggs.
But it happened way back up there between 3 and 4 when he started losing it.
Yeah. When he came back down the track, he bounced off of somebody and then went back up toward the outside.
On board with Dale Jarrett as he drives up on the accident. His spotter has warned him there's trouble. He drives down on the apron of the racetrack and luckily gets by.
Caution is out now. Caution is out. Good job, brother.
Bob Jeffrey.
Cars are going to be the fastest. But I think when Saul said,
oh, trouble. Back straightaway. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Green, and more.
Easy, wave them off behind you. Back it down. Coming to the caution.
That's Ken Schrader.
Kenny Schrader. Oh, darn it. Schrader and Rusty in the 43 car. Man,
there's Jeff Green.
So Rusty will not win the Daytona 500 in 2004.
Rusty Wallace in his 22nd Daytona 500 try. He has scored 54 wins at NASCAR's top level. But this race, its biggest, has not been one of them.
Well, Kurt Busch is going to get one of his laps back. Elliot Sadler will come back around, be on the tail end of all those lead lap cars.
Labonte would be the lucky dog?
Yeah, Bobby Labonte hung on with Tony, became the lucky dog.
Now let's see what happened here. That Rusty Wallace just got squeezed in. The 42 car, Jamie McMurray, came up the racetrack right across the left front of Rusty Wallace, turned Rusty into the 43 car of Jeff Green and collected Schrader.
Ooh, see Johnny Benson there come whistling by in the grass. That had to be a hairy ride.
That's one of those deals where, you know, most of the time 2 out of 3 of the other cars are just at the wrong place at the wrong time. There's nowhere they could have gone.
See, McMurray just had no idea that Rusty was moving up on his outside, and Rusty had to avoid the 42 car. And
now watch these guys to the right here as Jeff Green spins, come whistling through the grass.
Yeah, running through the grass 180 is always exciting.
Oh, there's John Andretti just barely getting by.
On board Dale Jarrett.
He just barely gets by.
This is Jeremy Mayfield. And he's going to end up in the grass.
Yeah, this is not good for Jeremy because
he got it slowed down a lot before he hit the grass. That was good.
All right, here we go. Here they come down pit road.
Ken Schrader and Jeff Green.
As we watch again here, watch 42 on the bottom of the screen. He floats up, doesn't know Rusty's there, turns Rusty right into the 43 and collects Kenny Schrader as well. Want to know how frustrated that is?
Yeah,
take a listen.
And what's at stake for him here? He's trouble. Contact on the backstretch. It's Michael Waltrip and now Brian Vickers. Robbie Gordon, 31. The top. Waltrip's over. 1, 2, 3 times for Michael Waltrip.
Well, there's the big one right there. Took a lot. There's a lot of good cars right there. Is that Sterling Marlin in there?
40 cars in it. That's Michael Waltrip's car upside down.
Terry Smith.
See movement there at the left side of the car as we look at it. Caution flag is out. The field has slowed. And the safety and rescue workers already there attending to Michael Waltrip's car and the others involved in this big crash down the back straightaway.
And this is why NASCAR slow these cars down on the caution flag, to let the rescue workers get there to attend to these drivers as quickly as possible.
They've gotten there so much faster right now than they used to.
Oh, man, it's unbelievable.
And Wally, you know from your experience inside these race cars with all the safety restraints and so on, it's not a big cockpit area that a driver has to move around in, and Michael's not a small guy.
No, Michael's a big guy. You've got your Hans on. Michael's got some extra wires connected to this helmet because of the camera that he's carrying, like I was yesterday. So there's a lot of things that are connected to you. You can't move. On top of that, you're upside down. It's hard to get the steering wheel off, and then when you let go of the belts, you got to be careful not to fall on top of the steering wheel column. So you got to really try to get your bearings, and just, if you're not hurt, just take your time. Those guys are there, the fire guys are there, and if you can just take your time and get yourself unhooked, I think, obviously if the car's on fire, you're going to create ways to get out quick. But
there's Brian Vickers out of his car. Jamie McMurray in the accident. Driver with the star in his uniform. Back left of the screen. He's out of his car. And the work continues around the Michael Waltrip machine.
And also the way the seats are around you, the head pieces, is very difficult for somebody like Michael.
If he's okay, the best thing they could do would turn the car over and then get him out, if he's okay.
Pit road is open. Let's check on the pit stops. Marty?
Alan Matt Kenseth in second place. He said, I need to be a little bit tighter if I'm going to run up front here. I about wrecked 6 times that time. Half a round down on the track bar, Dave.
More good news for Tony Stewart's. No chassis changes this time. 4 fresh tires, plus the news that Michael's okay. Weber?
This should be routine. 4 tires for the 8 car, and fuel seemed to take a long time on the right front, Matt.
The 24 is in. It's going to be a 4-tire change for Jeff Gordon. His car has started to come to him. Jimmy Johnson also in service complete. It's going to be close. He's not going to beat the 20 and the 8 off pit road.
I think Jeff Gordon got there first.
Yeah, good stop.
See the rest of the teams exiting pit road after their stops. And the work around the Michael Waltrip car to extricate him from that machine after it turned over at least 3 times down the backstretch. When the car slid off into the grass, I saw one of the tires leave the machine, and when that rim that was left on it dug into the grass, it just sent the car kind of cartwheeling over on its roof.
And when you're in a situation like that, you are just a passenger, especially when these cars start turning each other. Here you see, looks like Johnny Sadler slid up in the 30 car into Brian Vickers in the 25. A chain reaction.
Yes, that's Michael talking. Yes.
And Biffle, the pole sitter, looks like he barely got through there.
So you see the tire come off of Michael's car, then it got into that grass softened by the rain, and it just dug in, just like we saw Ryan Newman's last year, and sent the car over.
There's Harvick, Kevin LePage, Johnny Benson,
Terry Labonte. Saw McMurray and Vickers.
Okay, here we go. This might be our best shot.
Watch the car on the bottom there.
The
Blue
30.
and yellow car. Slides up right there. Just ever so little contact, which doesn't look like a lot when you're running 185, 190 miles per hour. It's a lot.
There's the 15. About right now, he's going to dig in. There goes one of the tires that Alan talked about. Violent.
Very violent. Yeah, when you hit that grass, hang on.
And the 30 car, he comes up and just, it's like you said, Wally, another 6 inches probably would have not been an accident.
And it looks like the 30 to me got a little bit loose down there. He got a little bit loose, he corrected, but when he corrected, he slid up the racetrack, and unfortunately there were 2 cars on the outside of him.
So my count, at least 10 cars involved in this accident.
And it's hard to tell if he got loose or he pushed up there, but
the end result is still the same.
Yeah.
Michael hit by Robbie Gordon, and then here's the dig. Right there.
Dig.
You can see just how high that he throws the dirt as the car goes over.
A couple other cars almost got on their lid, too. That was Kevin LePage in the 4 car got some air.
Now watch this. I think Biffle gets through it without too much damage.
Hey, Benny, he just said on the radio they should show it from my onboard.
Stay low.
We are.
Wow, that is amazing.
Come on. You all right? How bad is it? You good?
That should be the lucky dog.
That's right.
There.
Robbie Gordon's view.
Robbie didn't have such a good time of it.
Now.
Man.
That looked like yesterday.
We're done. My car's killed.
He said all this while he's sliding to a stop. Did you hear him say, we're done?
Yeah.
My car's killed?
Let's watch the 30s. See if he pushes or he gets loose. He gets loose.
Gets loose, yeah.
So the back end breaks loose first, and when he's trying to correct and catch it, is when he slides up into Vickers, and Vickers pinches Waltrip, and off they go. Let's add a couple of more to this. How about 12 cars in this accident now? We get all the numbers and the cars coming back around damage. There's Ryan Newman.
Yep, he was almost through it. 25 car Vickers came down and just tagged him.
Page in the air. Sterling Marlin up under him. There's Benson in the 09.
And like I said, there's just no place for you to go a lot of times. It's just...
Let's go on board Michael Waltrip. And
That's us, guys. 25 got into us. That's us.
They are talking to Michael, the safety workers are, but we talked about the tight cockpit and Michael being a big guy. He's just trapped inside the car.
that's right. I mean, turn the thing over. Or cut the roll cage out of it.
I think probably the reason they don't turn it over to BP is if he does have any kind of injury, especially to the neck or the back, that's the last thing you want to do.
That's probably a good idea, yeah.
So precautions being taken to extricate Michael Waltrip from his machine. And while we continue to monitor that, let's check with Martin.
Ryan Newman hammering on the 12 car right now and said that he would rather talk. He just wants to calm down for a second. Very upset about what happened out there. And sometimes, BP, as you know, you can use a hammer to take out some frustrations, can't you?
Yeah, hit that fender, Ryan. Hit it hard.
Hit Marty.
Yeah, hit Marty.
I would rather you hit me.
Of course, Ryan Newman, they got the car up on its side and looks like they're flipping it over.
All right, now don't let it hit so hard. Oh,
no way you're going to stop that. And you see they continue to work. Wow, look at the heavy damage to that machine. So they continue to work to get Michael Waltrip out of his car. Again, though, the report from NASCAR is that he is talking to the rescue workers there. And a big list. Wow. Man, involved in this accident.
Well, we talked about earlier, it's not if, it's when.
So in this case, the big wreck happened at lap 72 of the 200 scheduled in today's Daytona 500-mile race. And the defending 500 winner played an unfortunate starring role. See a number of different rescue crews there, the tow trucks to remove all the vehicles involved in the accident, the EMTs and the medical workers, the firemen and the extrication tools. And that's inside Michael Waltrip's car.
And Michael's probably
he's getting out.
Getting out of the car now.
Michael's crawling out of that thing.
Good. But you can see how close everything is in there, very confined. Plus, you got the roof on you. The dash is all crushed on you.
The people in the back can see that and listen to the huge applause that Michael gets as he gets out and waves to the crowd.
It's a good sign.
Take the stretcher and put it back. We don't need it.
So not the kind of day Michael Waltrip hoped for, certainly, in this Daytona 500. He was hoping to come away with his name inscribed on the Harley Earl Trophy for a third time as a 500 winner. Instead, he's going to be on every 11 o'clock sportscast tonight with the spectacular flyer through the infield.
That's a roof cam, watching all these guys pick the debris up.
Trouble off turn 2 involves 12 cars and sends Michael Waltrip for a flying tumble. Caution flag is out in the 46 Daytona 500. Frightening, scary moment. Fortunately, Michael Waltrip out of his car and it's just fine. As we come back to the Daytona 500, you see the remains of Michael Waltrip's car being hauled away. The most important part to note, that center cage area you see from the window, door in the window area, the front and back, if that crushes, that's fine. But that center cage where the driver sits, Benny and Wally, that's the heart of the safety of a race car.
And we can see the integrity is still there and protecting Michael Waltrip.
Especially for somebody like Michael's size.
At least about 6'5".
Yeah.
Camera still works. He talked about flipping that car back over, BP. This was the view. Upside down, right side up.
Okay, now we take the wheel off and see about getting out of this car.
Just look at the dirt on the dashboard. And remember Ryan Newman told us on Countdown to Green the piece of sod he ended up with in his car after his flip last year that he took home with him. McDonald's sponsors a championship, a contest for pit crews throughout the season. Teams who spend the least amount of time on pit road. It's called the McDonald's Pit Crew Championship, fueled by Powerade. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team was the victor a season ago, and the teams will be contesting for that race within a race throughout 2004. Just had a round of pit stops here. You saw that Jeff Gordon won the race off the pit lane. Now all the teams will be running down to the Sunoco gas station to get some more fuel for the next round of pit stops. Sunoco, just one of the new things in NASCAR racing in 2004. Good to have him aboard. You know, my dad, when he raced back in the late 1960s at a local track up in Massachusetts, I was just talking this morning, had a big Sunoco decal on the car. The local Sunoco dealer used to give him gasoline. That's what a sponsorship was in those days. Marty?
Wild ride for a lot of drivers, including Brian Vickers. What started all that, Brian?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the 30 car may have got loose or something and got into us, and then I got into Michael and it just kind of went from there. I hate it for everybody. I really hate it for this GMAC Chevy team. They worked their butts off. It's the best car we had all week. We went from 35th to the top 10. We were running top 10 there the last part of the race we were in. But the guys did a great job. I can't thank them enough. I want to thank the president for coming today and all the support we have from the fans out here.
When all that happens, what's your view?
What's my view?
What do you see out the windshield? Anything?
Hold on. I see a lot of smoke, a lot of dirt flying, a lot of cars, and it usually hurts pretty good. But I'm fine now. I got a little bit sore, but other than that, it's just hold on and let go of the wheel.
He feels fine, but he's only 20 years old. Remember that too, Dave.
Marty Sterling Marlin drove his car in. What was your view of the wreck there?
I don't know. We all ran into each other on the straightaway. Somebody got into somebody in front of us up there, and seen some smoke and everything looked good. And you know, I was going good and straight. Somebody hung me in the right rear and turned me head on in the fence. So I don't know what time to do all that. These cars too tight. They need to cut the spoiler off and make them a little loose. Everybody's pushing, and if you get 3 deep, the front end just takes off on them, and it's nothing to do about it. So they need to look at these rules and cut some of the spoiler off and let us get them hung out sideways.
All right, Sterling Marlin not able to win his 3rd Daytona 500 today, guys.
Still cleaning up on the back straightaway, so let's take a break. We're approaching 200 miles. In the 46 Daytona 500, a dozen cars involved in the big wreck on the back straightaway. Michael Waltrip, I don't think any question about it, got the worst of the whole deal.
Ken Schrader, the Schwann's Food Service Dodge, hitting the wall in turn 2.
Did he get a little nerf over there, Larry?
There he is right there. That's Kenny Schrader in the 49 car. I'm sorry I missed him there.
I'm not so sure he didn't get a little nerf from that 30 car.
Gauge is broken, the oil temperature running high. They brought the car and they cooled it off, and Jeremy says it's running a lot better now.
The hometown hero, Kyle Petty from nearby Randleman, crashes and tries to bring that car around to pit road.
Caution is out.
Yeah, hard swipe of the wall. So at lap 52, we're under the 2nd caution.
You know, just going back to all these problems on pit road, I think you've got 2 reasons, Darrell. One, it was an early caution. You had 39 cars on pit road at one time. Plus, we've talked about it. This pit road continues through turn 1 and 2, and it's blind. I think it's what Jamie McMurray's talking about. He can't find his pits going through that curve.
Yeah, and when you pull out, you have to pull out headed straight out into traffic because you're in the turn. And, yeah, it's a terrible place to pit. You'd be better off to pit way back here somewhere on the straight.
Here's why we're under caution. At lap 52, the 45 of Kyle Petty.
I have to look at that from another angle.
Did he get together with Johnny Sauter?
Yeah, they definitely got together, but I'm not sure. Sometimes those cars will get together like that. It'll hit your left front wheel, and it'll just take the car right out. You just lose control of the car.
From our hood pin cam on board Johnny Sauter.
He just came off of turn 2 over there. You don't have enough room to really come off underneath somebody. He got into the side of him and bounced it into the wall.
I love it when we put these cool new cameras in just the right places. Sorry about that. 2nd caution of the day for Kyle Petty.
No,
Miss pit road.
And so is the 48 car. He's hit something.
And the caution is out.
48 car, looks to me like 48 car got into the back of the 49.
Well, I think, Darrell, he couldn't get stopped quick enough. He couldn't get stopped quick enough and had to spin the car to keep from hitting Kenny Schrader.
Jimmy Johnson was so fast on new tires, running against cars with worn tires.
Now, here, big break for Dale Jarrett, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Martin. Those guys had not made their green flag stops yet. They have a bunch of cars. We're only short about 16 cars on the lead lap right now.
This is a bad break for Michael because he just came on pit road, and so did Gordon, so they're in big trouble.
Michael took off, took a piece of equipment with him. The wedge adjusting wrench sits right there in the left rear, and that will be a penalty stop.
Field's frozen. We're pitted past the start-finish line as soon as the caution comes out, and we were rolling. Step 4.
Now they are questioning where they will line up based on when the caution came out.
Yeah, because if the field is frozen, so if Michael was ahead of Dale Jarrett as he left pit road, then he won't lose a lap.
See what happened to Jimmy Johnson and Ken Schrader in the 49.
He did get into the back of
clipped him, yeah.
And Kenny Schrader looked like was maybe trying to slow down, maybe to get to pit road.
Schrader's up a little high right there. Yeah, see, Schrader should have been down lower on the racetrack, and that's a hard lick for Jimmy Johnson.
And the Lowe's Chevrolet looks done for the day. Jimmy's okay.
And you know what this is going to do to Jimmy Johnson and that 48 team? Even with finishing 5th at Daytona, they're probably going to fall out of the top 10 in Nextel Cup points. They have been there for 70 consecutive weeks. But I think that streak will probably come to an end today.
Now Matt Kenseth had slowed to come onto pit road under green and nearly got tagged here.
Yeah, but see how high, there goes Jimmy by him. See how high up, I guess he knew that probably the spotter told him the 48 was under him. So he let Jimmy go by before he came to pit road.
He almost got collected by Brendan
He
Gaughan.
did, yeah. It says you got to get your hand up on going down the back straightaway. You're supposed to get your hand up and drop all the way down in the lower groove so people know you're coming in the pits.
But Darrell, if you pit under green, can you really afford to drop off the banking net early when everybody else is wailing around the racetrack?
No, you don't have to get on the flat. You just got to get down on the bottom of the racetrack with your hand up so the cat's behind you. But with these seats and headrests and all, it's hard to get that hand up there where you can see it.
Jimmy Johnson has a short day at the Rock as he collides with Ken Schrader to bring out caution number 3 in the Subway 400.
Baldwin, he said the track is getting tighter. Big track.
Holy cow, the car upside down on the back straightaway.
Carl Long has crashed hard. He collected Bobby Labonte in the process.
Man, Carl's car just took a wild tumble. Joe Nemechek.
Oh, he's okay.
Yeah, Nemechek was up in that too somehow.
6th caution at lap 263, and there is Carl Long. He is okay. The Al Smith Dodge is a mess.
I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since the last time I saw a car tumble down the back straightaway like that was Bobby Allison in the Mercury of Roger Penske's in about 1976, I think it was here. Bobby took a wild ride down the back straightaway, very similar to that.
It's something you just don't see. Not here.
He climbed up that, what happened is he climbed up that wall and he got the thing up on that wall. It just started turned over and started tumbling.
You know, Paul Wolf in qualifying the other day in the Busch Series climbed that wall. He just about turned over, but did not.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, guys. Get a look at this. There's Bobby Labonte.
The blue car in front, 46.
46.
Somebody hits.
Oh, he just gets hooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brendan Gaughan got into the back of Joe Nemechek in the 01. Brendan Gaughan in 77.
Carl Long goes for the wild ride.
And that's all on driver's side right there, sliding down the racetrack. Now she starts to tumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5.5, 6 times.
And almost landed on top of Bobby Labonte. Jeannie?
Although, guys, Bobby Labonte isn't really complaining too much. He says there's really not a lot of front end damage. He says, certainly I have some flat tires. I'm going to have to go behind the wall.
The tear-offs off Matt Kenseth's Ford. They're also going to make a slight air pressure adjustment in that right rear, and he will beat his teammate, the 97, off pit road, Steve.
Matt Jamie McMurray saying his car is loose off the corners. They've already made a chassis adjustment, a wedge adjustment, 4 tires.
Ryan Newman's team finishing up service. Matt Borland and crew. 18 cars on the lead lap.
I believe McMurray may have beaten everybody off pit road.
There's what's left of Carl Long's car. Once again, he is okay after this bad tumble. Brendan Gaughan gets into the black car of Joe Nemechek, and the 46, the blue car, goes skyward there.
Yeah, Nemechek being up under the back of the 46 car lifted it up and got it up on the wall.
It was Mark Martin that turned Bobby Labonte there, and Labonte was way close to that.
Look how high that car got right. It got a lot of air there at one point.
At actual speed.
Just run out of room.
I mean, you're probably running well over 150 miles per hour right there in that area.
Ricky Rudd had to drive through it. Let's ride with him.
That's when you call your crew and you say, you won't believe what I just saw.
After the caution, the race off pit road.
Second was too close to tell.
Yeah, I think McMurray got second.
Caution out for Carl Long's crash. You can win tickets to the Samsung Radio Shack 400, or you could win a new car in our Radio Shack contest. For more information, log on to foxsports.com. Carl Long is the most recent retiree from this race. He joins Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Johnson, Kirk Shelmerdine, and Joe Ruttman in the garage because of this.
Well, you see, Joe got a little squirrely back there, and when he did, Brendan gets into him, and the 01 car actually just pushes the 46 over and gets him upside down.
Nothing Mark Martin could do but lock the brakes up, getting into Bobby Labonte there. And Jeannie is with the driver of the 46, Carl Long.
Yeah, Carl Long, first thing I said to you, I was glad to see that you're doing okay here. One of the most wild rides I think people have seen here at Rockingham.
Well, I'm glad to give them the highlight reel show then, but it won't do too much for me racing much anymore. That was the only Cup car I had right now, and I don't know exactly what happened out there. I thought I'd give everybody room and was just trying to ride and finish a race, and basically racing Andy Hillenberg and trying to get any other positions I could get, and without a sponsor and without any help, that wasn't the way I wanted to finish today. I don't know who wheeled. Somebody on the other Cup teams, they give me some scuffed tires and stuff, so I owe somebody for 4 wheels now.
All right, but you got a website and he's taking donations, Larry.
Yeah, Jeannie, I mean, it breaks my heart. DW, you'll relate to this. I mean, he works a regular job. He's the car chief for David Starr's Craftsman Truck Series team. He said he looked at the entry list earlier in the week, saw there didn't have a lot of entries, drugged this car out, got some friends to help him get it down here. He bought the engines from Petty Enterprises over 2 years ago. It hadn't had valve springs put on it in over a year, and it just breaks your heart to see. We may not know when he'll be back racing because, as he said, this is his only race car.
And he's a really good kid. I mean, I worked with him over at Charlotte a couple years ago, and he let me drive his car in the 600. Got a big heart, good kid, unfortunately.
Guys are waiting until the 15 car. Michael Waltrip hits, so Matt Kenneth, there's a crash.
Robbie Gordon has crashed in the back straightaway, and somebody's going to get caught out.
But big break for Jamie McMurray, who has not been to pit road yet. Big break for him.
Well,
and a tough break for Kenseth and Kane.
Well, it could be. The field is frozen. When the caution comes out, it's frozen, so we've got to figure out where everybody is.
I'll tell you where they're probably going to be. They're probably going to be at the tail end of the lead lap, Darrell, when it's all over with.
Kurt Busch was going to pit. They waved him through, and Robbie Gordon's singular Chevy's used up.
The 43 car and he must have gotten together somewhere.
Jeff Green.
Steer straight, steer okay.
Jeff Green had just pitted and come back out on track with fresh tires. So this is the 7th caution of the day at lap 351.
Big break for Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch. Those guys had not been to pit road either.
How many times have we said it here, Darrell? This changes everything.
It definitely does, and it changes it for the better for that 42 car.
Not for the better Scott Riggs. His Chevy's being pushed to the garage. And Michael Waltrip is maybe coasting to a stop here. Let's see what happened to bring out this caution.
Oh, Robbie gets loose off of turn 2. And look. He's up on his side and almost goes over.
That's on the exit of DW's hot spot.
That's it. Well, it's that transition there. There's a little hump there that just kind of throws the car sideways. 2 cars in one day here getting up on the side like that is very unusual. Look at that. If he had had a car under him like Carl Long did, he'd have rolled too. It's like Days of Thunder.
I wonder what happened to Robbie's car that he lost control and slid up into Jeff Green.
Well, it looked like he just got snapped loose coming up out of 2 down there and caused him to get, lose control.
It's called out there on 70-lap tires.
Old tires worn out trying to make it to, till you get in your window.
Well, he may have slammed the window shut on Matt Kenseth's fingers or Casey Kane's. We'll see how NASCAR realigns the field. Let's have another look, Darrell, and watch that orange 31.
See, he's coming up off the corner. Here he comes, and he just gets a little loose, and it's almost like he doesn't know the 43 is there. It's got to be. He just didn't know the 43 was there. And here comes Jeff Gordon. Watch him.
Just barely gets by. It's even a hard lick on the inside wall.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Robbie got a little loose, and sometimes that'll kind of just take you by surprise. The car will jump sideways right there with you, and you let the car go so you don't spin it out, not knowing that the 43 car was on the outside of it.
So for the second time today, Jeff Green runs into somebody else's trouble. He hit a tire that rolled out onto pit road. That did not.
Flag this time. 1 to go, boys.
All right, somebody's got to go different. Can't all go the same way.
Kenseth went low in 1. Changes lanes. Here comes Kane on the outside.
Just can't quite mat it right there off of turn 2.
McMurray almost hit the wall exiting 2 and drops back.
Yeah, he lost a lot of ground right there. Last time through 3 and 4, though.
Here they
Kane goes to the bottom.
Kane comes to the bottom.
He gets a run. He's got a good run on him.
Side by side of the line. Kenseth.
Told you it'd be a FOMOCO finish.
Matt Kenseth wins the Subway 400. His 8th career win.
1/100th of a second.
That was a great, but that was really smart on Kane's part. He saved his best for the last lap, the last turn.
Here it is again. Coming out of 2, McMurray got a little loose. It made it a 2-car race. Here they come to the line.
Kane got such a run off turn 4.
Ooh, baby.
Wow.
All right. Casey's around here. He says, I'm going to do me some donuts.
You know what? He should.
Well, as rookie of the race, he's entitled. Look at that finish.
Ever so close.
And as they cross the line, Jack Roush knows.
Jack the hat knows.
Jack says, I think we got it.
Starting in the back has not been a disadvantage here. Neil Bonnet won here in '88 from 30th. Bobby Hamilton won from 28th. Johnny Benson's victory came from 26th. 1:32 on lap 1, 6th quickest. Looking for a little more here.
Another one of the teams that tested out here.
Oh, Jeffy, oh, baby.
Yeah, he definitely scraped the wall coming off turn 4.
I say that's got backup car written all over it.
Sorry about that, guys. They got away from us.
The car took quite a jump against the concrete.
No, that's got backup written on it. If they want to.
Tough break for Jeff Gordon.
That's a little bit more than a pancake. Here she comes. Here, ooh, baby.
Here's another look.
He's trying to stay in the gas, and it just gets out from under him.
Awfully hard lick.
Yes, sir. Tried to climb the wall. He's coming off on the outside of Kurt here. All of a sudden, I think he loses some grip maybe from being right up behind the 97, and man, he smacked that wall hard.
And Darrell, you're carrying so much speed off that corner. If the car just slides at all right there, you just run out of racetrack. We've seen it about a half a dozen times this week.
And what happens is you can't stop it. You're going so fast you can't stop it from doing it. It does it all by itself.
McMurray's in trouble. He's fallen to 8th. Gives up track position to Ryan Newman, who's a lap down. That'll move Matt Kenseth up to 3rd, Kevin Harvick to 4th, Kurt Busch to 5th.
He's reviewing the situation right now, trying to figure out what.
And then on lap 87 moments ago, Ryan Newman spinning, but Jeff Hammond making a terrific save at 175 miles per hour.
I can see everybody reset. I don't know what my problem is. I'll try to get in there better.
Turn 2, and it is Jeff Green. His lucky charm must have gone out the window because he's pounded the wall at corner number 2 in that Petty Dodge.
We've been talking about him, Mike. He was running in 14th position when this happened. I don't know if he ran out of racetrack or if he had a right front tire go down or what, but a lot of damage to the right front of that 43 car.
3rd caution of the day at lap 137.
Been hitting these cautions about right. You know, about when you'd really like to start thinking about making pit stops.
Dale Jr. back in the garage.
That setup didn't work. Let's try another one, boys.
And Jeff Green coming onto pit road with a battered race car.
There. The next thing you know, he's going to get a backup car out. Yeah, they killed that 43 car.
Viagra onboard cam above Mark Martin. We've got a panning roof cam to show you here on NASCAR on Fox. The folks at Broadcast Sports Technology now have a roof cam that will move right to left. In the TV and film business, that's called panning.
Mark's been pretty consistent all day. He's been hanging around the top 15. Kind of a typical Mark Martin run here. Probably show up in the top 10 before the day's over with.
Keeping that nose clean. Just past halfway, we still have 21 cars on the lead lap. We're getting the word when it's all said and done. Joe Nemechek in the 01, he will get the pardon, the free pass.
Pardon me, boys.
Coming through.
Is that the cat that ate your new shoes?
Hello?
Hello.
Mike, over the past 80 laps, Brian Vickers has backslid to 15.
Oh, trouble down here. Car around Michael.
Michael Waltrip backs it in hard.
Heavy rear end damage.
We just had watched him in that battle. He was running in the 15th position. Definitely, they're going to have to take that to the garage.
It's going to be more than the garage. He's going to be in there with Dale Jr., but for a whole different reason. Well, look like
right
that thing
behind
just...
you. You're in the middle of the track. You can't move down. The whole pack is behind you.
Looked like the thing just broke loose. A lot like what we saw Ryan Newman do.
Down pretty bad, guys.
And Darrell, you look at his first 2 races. At Daytona finished 38th, Rockingham 33rd. It just keeps on backsliding.
Yeah, and the window net's down. I see him moving around.
Now there's some damage on Bill Elliott's car. We're not sure if it's from this or something else.
He was racing pretty heavily there with several cars.
This is the 3 cars we're battling for about 15th, going off into turn 3, Darrell.
Oh, yep. Just ever so slightly, Bill got into the back of him.
You're out there sliding around, you're running 150 miles per hour. A little tap can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Was Michael a little bit loose already, Darrell?
I think it almost looked like that Bill got under him and got him a little bit loose, and then Bill got into him. So it just so quickly.
Let's show you real time how quickly this can happen.
I don't know. It's just at that point where if you touch the car, it goes around.
Terry Labonte will be the car that gets the free pass. The first car 1 lap down.
Let's see what this tells us.
Don't take much to see you spinning around here, and boy, what a look.
Oh yeah, we started the day with half a dozen panning bumper cams too on the back. We now have 1 less than we started with.
Now this may be...
Now he's just waiting for a chance to get through.
Michael's not usually, he doesn't lose his cool too much. Kind of understands how it works.
These boys they got to do something, try to get this season turned around. He finished 3rd here last year, and I believe that car will be done for the day.
Yeah, I mean, last year he was in the top 10 in points right up till the last 10 races of last year.
And he was having a fairly solid run. Been hanging right there in the top 15.
Good day yesterday, finished 4th.
Now he has to get in the ambulance. That is a NASCAR requirement when you crash.
Well, Jeff had just come on the radio a couple of laps ago, Mike, and said
Dick, the point leader, has spun coming onto pit road. This is huge.
Yeah, he was past the commit cone as well, so he's got all kinds of penalties. Spinning on pit road, past the commit cone, all kinds of problems, DW. And all this is happening under green.
Yeah, I think what happened is when Gordon and some of the other front runners started to come to pit road, they must have hollered at him a little late because he was coming off of turn 4 way too fast to make it on the pit road.
A rare mistake for the defending Cup champion, and the official will signal that. They have new pit road signals for the officials, similar to used by the NFL, and that is being
signaled. The brakes, the front's one stop and locked up a little bit, and then the rear's just locked up. Just one stop, something's wrong with them. I even put it in there.
Well, there's the answer from Matt Kenseth as to what happened, and he took the cones with him. The penalty will be a drive-through at pit road speed for Matt Kenseth.
Which very well will put him a lap down under green. As you see Tony Stewart in a 20 car, he's coming to pit road. Jeannie.
Well, Jimmy Johnson out on the track complaining the car was loose, but it was getting better. There was a promise when they came in for the pit stop to get rid of some tape to take care of business. Also took care of the track bar and 4 tires. Steve?
Jeannie, Tony Stewart told Greg Zipadelia's crew chief, give me just a little bit forward bite, but don't mess me up anywhere else. The car is good. 4 tires. Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew waiting for the Bud car to hit their pit stall. Jr. says the car is way too free on exit as a 17 works his way down pit road, doing his pass through. You can see the wedge wrench going in the back window. Troy Prince makes that adjustment. He said, I need you to work on the thing that's worst on my race car, and that's the free on exit. A little bit of trouble on that left rear. Junior down and away.
Let's go back to Matt Kenseth's spin, Darrell, entering the pits, and what he said about why it happened. Robbie Gordon has taken over the lead here.
Well, you've been running under green, and your brakes are cold, and so when you come down here for the first time, and the brakes are cold, you haven't been using them at all, and you get on them a little hard, you see you're going too fast. He's way out of line there. You see smoke. He's locking up the brakes, but he gets really hard on the brakes, and that locks up the rear tires and spins him out.
What about the transition right there from the track to pit road? Does the car drop off and lose weight on the back?
Yeah, that's always a problem on any racetrack, and particularly if you're overcooking the entrance.
So Kenseth spins around officially.
Anyway.
Michael Waltrip in the 15 car. Michael was 31st quickest in practice.
He has worn that wall out.
Yes, he has.
That's about the 3rd time he's been into it.
And Darrell, I think he's just going to abort.
He got to.
Take a provisional.
He did that this morning right off. He fixed it, worked on it, went back out and rubbed up on it again, and I think he just used her up again.
Michael will make his 575th career start here Sunday. Should have won this race back in 1991 and had a bad pit stop. Had a lug nut thing in an air wrench.
I think he finished 3rd. He just gets up here, and runs out of racetrack. And he gets in there, and what happens when you get up next to that wall like that and you can't get away from it? You pick all that debris up on your tires, and then it's just you have no control. You just have to let it rub the wall.
And it's actually physics. That car won't turn left.
Well, as you said earlier, Steve, this racetrack I don't think was designed to run 170+ miles per hour.
So Casey Kane still on the pole. Michael Waltrip heads to the garage. We'll continue with butt pole qualifying here at Darlington right after this.
18 of 22 times.
And I believe it was Darrell that said 88% of the races have been won from inside the top 10.
Darrell, he's
out of control.
Yeah, he's not working through 3 and 4.
No, he ain't. It kind of looks like that Vegas thing, you know, where he slapped the fence coming out of turn 4 and did a lot of damage to his car. Still gets picks up the 6th spot there. I think he found that little hole down there I was talking about. maybe that's sucking them in there. Let's see what he did. Here he comes. Here he comes. Yo, whoa! There, see that?
There it is.
Actually, that hole is going to work out well.
We said there'd be more customers.
Yeah. Somebody knew what they were doing. Watch, he hits it there, then it just clears him right out.
I think the car took off with him in the middle of 3 and 4. He actually grazed the wall right up back in the middle of the corner.
Yep. Oh, he didn't. Look at it. It's just tire damage. He just rubbed the Goodyear off of him.
In fact, Walter Cobb
down in turns 3 and 4, and he's going around into the wall.
Caution is out. Morgan Shepherd in 89 just barely gets by, and I tell you, these guys have to be wondering, where is it going to stop at?
Yeah, ever since September of last year, this is the way his cars look most of the time.
Caution out beginning lap 9 here at Darlington. Michael Waltrip gets caught up, and
it looks like the car, I was looking at it and I glanced up to see it, just gets loose going in. He tries to catch up with it. Not enough room here to chase a car up the hill. Gets clipped in the left front, turns it back into the outside wall.
First caution of the day comes early at Darlington, South Carolina. Driver who did not stop was Greg Biffle. He is the leader. Michael Waltrip sits in the garage. Dick Bergman.
Well, Michael Waltrip has had a very, very tough weekend. He has crashed practice, he crashed in qualifying, and now again in the race. What just happened to you, Michael?
We cut a left rear tire getting then into 3. As soon as I let off, it started vibrating and lost control of the Napa Auto Parts Chevy. It's been a terrible year, Dick. I'd like to take a second and thank Napa, Klausner Furniture, Oreo Cookies, Best Western, Domino's, all of our sponsors, because y'all haven't got to talk about me any, and that's been very disappointing. Domino's is wanting to give $5 away for us to everybody if we just finish in the top 10. But Dick, I'm the same man that won the Daytona 500 a year ago, and we were sitting 3rd in the points here at Darlington after we left. And I'm still focused, and it's hard to accept. That was just out of the blue, left rear flat. And as soon as I let off, it turned around on me.
Mikey, better days are ahead, I promise.
Let's ride with Michael Waltrip.
Just like you said, you see the back step out, nowhere to go, not enough room here to save one. And I think it was Morgan Shepherd that plowed into him. I don't think it hurt Morgan's car that much, but yeah, Mikey's having a bad go of it right now, but it can turn around, go the other way just as easy.
38th at Daytona, 33rd at Rockingham, 37th at Las Vegas, 23rd at Atlanta, his best finish of the season. Steve Byrne, caution is out at lap 28. Andy Hillenberg, lapped car, spun, and Jeff Gordon, who came in here 5th in the Nextel Cup points, piled into Hillenberg. Jeff is okay. Let's show you what happened.
Well, the 80 car's up there in the groove, and here comes Tony, and Tony gives a little tap trying to get him down out of the way, and he turns him around, and Jeff, you just can't turn down right there. There's no way to stop. There's no way to turn. Jeff was hoping maybe the 80 would go down the hill. He could get by on the outside, but it just did not happen for him.
And Jeff had Elliot Sadler right underneath him.
He was forced up to the high side, and then the only thing he could hope for was that 80 car would slide down the hill.
And I think a split second later, he would have slid down the hill.
Yep. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
See, Gordon started to turn down, but there was just no way to clear him. Jamie McMurray scoots through on the apron.
This is all happening down there in the center of the corner at about 150, 60 miles per hour.
The lap previous, 2 cars that had trouble getting by Hillenberg had to really whoa up on the brakes and go underneath them.
Cars do hit the wall here and go down, but it takes them a little bit longer because your corner speed is so slow. You're not going fast enough through the corner to hit the wall and it shoots you down the racetrack. You kind of hit it and then go along and then slide down.
Jeff Gordon comes in here 5th in points, 22 starts here, 14 top 10 finishes, but it won't happen today, and that's going to be a big hit for him in this points.
He will join Michael Waltrip and Joe Ruttman in the garage.
The man that really wanted this caution was Greg Biffle, who restarted this race leading it about 20 laps ago. He had fell back to 19th. So I think once again, when pit road's open, everyone will come get those 4 fresh tires.
Not a lot of damage to. Todd Bodine gives up the lead to make a pit stop. Kyle Petty has had an extended stay on pit road. Look at the right rear. Some suspension damage in the rear of that car. Also some damage to the rear of Jeremy Mayfield. Didn't get our bumper cam, but did a lot of damage there to the left rear.
I think the 99 may have done that because I saw the 99 in pulling the nose out. Got a tail bent, a nose bent. They go together.
Darrell, again, let's look at the start of this and what happened between Tony Stewart and Andy Hillenberg.
Well, of course, Tony, you got to respect every race car on the racetrack, and he runs up on this slow car, and I know he's probably thinking, you know, this guy needs to get out of my way. I'm a fast car, and he wanted to send him a message.
What he was trying to do is say, look, feller, don't get in my way anymore. So he gives him a little nerf, gets him out of control, and the guy looks for Tony the next time, but he just got into him a little too hard.
Of course, along comes Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, just nowhere to go. As you said, DW, you thought that the 80 car, he thought the 80 car was going to go down the racetrack.
Well, after 2 years ago, where Tony got into an incident here with the lapped car, that may account for a little bit of lack of patience.
Yeah, this is Buckshot Jones in the 44 car. And again, Tony just was closing. You got to remember something. The closing right here is huge. And you're coming up on the guy, and you're anticipating, come on, come on, come on, come on, move. And he doesn't move, and you're into him.
Dick Bergman.
With Andy Hillenberg, what happened out there, Andy?
I wiggled up in front of the 20 car there, and I mean, you know, you come in here, and this is the big boys, and a slow car and a fast car, and fast car hits a slow car, and it's the slow car's fault, and we'll go back and build us a faster car, and someday we'll be back and we'll be the faster car.
Is he okay in there?
I'm fine. Sorry for Jeff Gordon. I feel bad. It's a race car driver's worst nightmare is to come here and take out one of the heroes, and all the Gordon fans, sorry.
And of course, we mentioned a while ago, Jeff Gordon comes into this race 5th in points, 130 points behind leader Matt Kenseth. And remember, it's a 26 race season right now, this chase for the championship, to be within 400 points of that leader at the end of 26 races. So still a long way to go, but he'll take a hard hit today on the points.
And then feel really sorry for Andy. I mean, he's just trying to be, you know, he wants to be in the show. He wants to be a part of the show. He is not the show. The stars are the show. He just wanted to be a part of it.
Race, but kind of battling like it's on a knife edge, because we've done a little bite there, and now we're way too tight. Can't do nothing about it. So hopefully we can just hold on to something here and make something happen.
We got a caution on the racetrack. The 9 car Casey Kane, I believe he's got a tire that's down, and the caution is out. He's very lucky he didn't hit that wall hard, Darrell.
I don't even think I don't think he hit it at all, and I don't think he's going to lose a lap.
Caution is out. This will be the 4th one of the day for Casey Kane. Comes out at lap 145.
Of course, he may have already been a lap down from that miscuing going into the pits.
And guess who gets the free pass? Dale Jr., who just went a lap down. Because the field freezes at the moment of caution. First car a lap down gets the pass. Let's look again to see what happened to Casey Kane.
Yeah, you see the...
Looked like the right rear tire possibly coming off turn 4.
Kind of looks like what I saw that car do at Homestead last fall.
With Bill Elliott in it. He was leading the race on a white flag lap.
Now that's what I'm talking about right here. This is where these young guys like him, he's got great car control, good hand-eye coordination, and he doesn't give up on that thing, and he keeps it off the wall. You see him, he's wiggling off the turn there, off the turn 4. And then the tire goes.
Pole sitter Casey Kane brings out the race's 4th caution. You're watching NASCAR on Fox. Up in it. Watch the 9. You see that Junior is past Casey Kane before Kane is in trouble. So Kane could not have been the free pass car. Kenseth goes around. Didn't see how that started, but
caution is out.
Oh, more cars, more cars.
Ricky Craven in the 32.
Scott Riggs. And now everybody woes up on the brakes and we'll get through. But Craven's car looks pretty well done.
Ian got us in the back.
Yep, Riggs got into Craven, but Kenseth will drive away.
I think Kenseth spun, the 10 slowed down, and 32 slowed down, the 10 got into him.
Now, I'm quite sure saying Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, as we watch Scott Riggs with a lot of damage, but Matt Kenseth, our points leader, will stay on the lead lap, I'm almost sure.
I don't know, Larry. He's creeping along down the back. I think he's trying to keep him tires from tearing up the body on the car.
Left side looks pretty well torn up already.
But he has a flat left rear tire, is exactly what Darrell's saying.
That bad boy comes apart, it'll rip the body off that thing.
Let's see what happened here at lap 161 from Ricky Rudd.
Well, just got in there on the flat, and that'll loosen you up sometime a little bit. He must have already been a little free, and the car just came around with him.
So he's down on the apron. Looks like, no, he's not coming back up.
But you know what? He's got a right front tire that looks like, of course, I know he spun, but you don't usually have flat spot tires too bad here. He may have had a tire problem.
All right, guys, he's on pit road right now, and what they did, smart move by Robbie Reiser in that group. He was close to going a lap down, so they just changed the left side tires now. He'll go around, get caught back up, then come get those fresh right sides.
But that right one is flat, too. You don't want that thing to come apart.
Ricky Craven, last year's winner by 3 inches. This year, gets run into. Ricky's okay. You see the Hans device, the head and neck support, still on his shoulders as he gets the helmet off.
And I'm pretty sure our pardon goes to Ryan Newman in the 12 car. So he will be back on the lead lap. A lot of damage on Casey Mears in the 41 car. Great run at Atlanta last week. Had that engine expire on him. Great run at Las Vegas.
Pit road is closed. Several cars there damaged, being worked on, including Brian Vickers and Scott Riggs. We're under yellow at Darlington. NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is brought to you by Ford, the official truck of NASCAR. By the new 4-for-all pizza. Everyone gets the toppings they want, only at Pizza Hut. By Nextel, coast-to-coast walkie-talkies in under a second. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. And by New Levitra, new choice, here now. Ask your doctor today. Caution out for Matt Kenseth's spin in turn 2, which caught up Ricky Rudd, Scott Riggs, and Ricky Craven. Craven's car has been hauled back to the garage. The others are on pit road under repair. They're going to open pit road this time by for lead lap cars. And there are the front 5 on your screen at 164 laps.
Now, Matt Kenseth did stay on the lead lap because he pitted before pit road was open. When we restart this race, he'll have to start at the tail end of the lead lap of the longest line.
Dick Berggren.
Jimmy Johnson has had great pit stops all day. Tire changes. Corey Quick and Joe Zanolini have been right on their game. Every single stop has been in the 13-second bracket. And just as he came in this time, crew chief Chad Canal said, no home runs, make it smooth. Steve.
This caution is a big break for Greg Biffle running in the top 4. They thought they had a flat tire, then perhaps a brake rotor problem. They will change all 4 tires and make air pressure adjustments. Big break for Greg Biffle. Matt.
Steve, a great run going for the second straight trip to Darlington for Jimmy McMurray. He said the car, after that wedge adjustment, had gone from loose to just a tick on the tight side, but he didn't want to make any adjustments to the 42 car.
Kurt Busch pulls out after making his stop. He's been a contender all day long. And let's add Brian Vickers and Casey Mears to the cars involved in the accident at turn 2. The first caution of the day was Michael Waltrip back at lap number 9. He was the first driver in this race to test the new safer barrier as he lost a left rear tire entering turn number 3 and slid up into the fence. He is back in the race after repairing damage. A year ago, that car might have had to go to the garage for the day. Here's Dick Berggren with today's WebMD Safety Report.
For this race, for the first time, the new safer barrier is installed at all 4 turns here at Darlington Raceway. The barrier is 30 inches wide. Its construction, 10 sheets of impact-absorbing foam, and then square steel tubing. Now, the drivers always ran right up against the fence, but now they've got the fence 30 inches closer to them. So guess what? Bam, a blue car. Bam, a red car. And some black tire mark as well. One of the things that's happened here as a result of the new safer barrier is that the groove has narrowed up. Look, there's hardly room for 2 cars to sit side by side on this turn, even if they're not moving. But at 170 miles an hour, this is the limit, because right down here, the track flattens out. The groove has gotten a whole lot more narrow, and as a result, bouncing up into that wall is a whole lot easier.
For information on how to keep your family safe and healthy, visit WebMD.com. Now, we talked about Matt Kenseth pitting before the pit lane was open. You are allowed to do that. However, you are not allowed to pass cars under caution and pull up to the safety car to make that pit stop. And that is what's being discussed right now. NASCAR is saying that Kenseth pulled up in line to pit, and they want to pull him in and hold him a lap for that.
Getting my dog in that fight? I can't really say for sure about that.
But guys, real quick, I'm going to tell you what, two crews that really shined on that pit stop. Jeff Hammond's been talking about it. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car, that first pit box, he got in, got his work done. He won the battle off pit road, and there you see it. His guys know it. But another crew that really shined, Robbie Gordon's Chris Andrews-led crew, they're going to come out in third position. Good pit stop for that group.
Yeah, actually giving you a black flag to 17. They don't black flag many cars. Hey, you know what? Bergman's down there and he's
10 to go this time, baby.
Whoa, spin, turn 3. Casey Kane.
Casey Kane in the 9 car. Caution is out. Caution is out. Casey was running about the 14th position. He will not lose a lap, though. He will stay on the lead lap. Remember, the field is frozen right now. Darrell, this is where Chad Canals, Michael Fatback McSwain, and by the way, Terry Labonte, I think, in the 5 car will, I don't know if we do it within 10 laps, but we'll have to find out about that.
Did Casey Kane have help? Let's see. Oh, the field stacks up.
Yeah, it's a chain reaction thing, and then I think Casey doesn't realize that. Yeah, see, Tony got into him right there. Tony got into him right there. Tony.
Well, Casey had to check up for Brendan Gaughan and whoever was alongside him. It's one of those domino effect deals.
That was the first contact. That was the second contact.
Well, I said there was going to be orange paint on something. I wasn't sure what from. And how about Casey Kane, Darrell? He has kept that car off the wall through a couple of wild slides today.
He really has. This has been his great adventure. He'll love his first Darlington race. He'll remember it anyway.
I was about to say Terry Labonte in the 5 car would get the pardon of the free pass. When you get to 10 to go, that's all off. There is no free pass.
You mean we're going to have to get our pulse rate all built up again?
Absolutely.
I love it. All of you folks that have been writing that the racing's been boring, keep those cards and letters, folks. Keep them at home. This is pretty neat. You can see that the grill of Tony Stewart's car where he got in the back of Casey Kane.
And remember what he's trying to do. He came in here second points. He's trying to capitalize on Matt Kenseth's troubles, who's sitting 31st back in position right now. Tony Stewart is in 16th.
How do you counsel aggressive patience now?
You don't. I mean, like I said, his gloves off, baby. And that's exactly what happened there. When Casey, Tony was trying to go by on the outside. Casey squeezed him a little bit, kind of irritated Tony the Tiger there.
Pit road is still closed, but we only anticipate that maybe someone back at the back of the field, like Scott Wimmer, Tony Stewart.
And he's also got the local Harley-Davidson dealer on the hood of his car.
We talked about moving the spoiler and the deck lid over to the right on Jamie McMurray's car. Kirk Schemmerdine has a 2002 body style here. What NASCAR does to discourage you from running an older body style, he has to run an inch shorter.
Boy.
And now it's real short.
That's going to leave a mark.
And that's what happens when your spoiler is an inch shorter than everybody else's.
Lots of less rear downforce.
Exactly. It's not much grip back there. I mean, that's a pretty small spoiler when you look at what we got now with the 5.5-inch spoiler on the other cars.
Kind of narrowed up the tail of that chopper style.
16:59 on his first lap.
Took the apostrophe out of Freddie B's there. Oh. You know, I feel bad because here's a fellow who's racing on a shoestring. He's really trying to do well. He's trying to get into these shows and race all day, and didn't need this.
You said that actually started before he ever got to the turn. You see the car wiggle a little bit as he's headed to the turn, and that means the back of the car is already kind of up in the air and loose.
You can see it right here, Darrell.
It just starts out. That's just like a grip, like a rear downforce. Now watch him. He's coming down the straightaway here. You watch his hands in there. About right along in there, he had to juke her back to the right real quick. That upset his corner entry, and then around she went.
Now, Larry, hard to tell, but that doesn't look fatal to the car. from here.
Bob, they've got a lot of work to do to that race car. There you see the deck lid, the quarter panel. They've got their work cut out for them. But the biggest question, will he have a provisional to get in this show?
Kirk Shelmerdine, former championship-winning crew chief. Second car to take time and takes the concrete instead. A little bit of track cleanup going on here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Steve Burns is with Kirk Shelmerdine.
Yeah, Mike, and as you said, a very tough break for Kirk Shelmerdine. And Kirk, you've had a chance to look at the damage of the race car. What lies ahead for you?
Well, I'm not sure if we'll fix this one or use our other one to start on Sunday. It didn't really hit very hard. It messed the sheet metal up. Just not real smart on my part.
What happened on the racetrack?
Spun out.
There it is.
And the problem, the reason he had that 2002 car here is he only has 2 cars. He was trying to save his 2003 body style for a much faster racetrack next week at Fort Worth, Texas.
And I tell you, these guys at the back of the field that they've been complaining, ooh, the 4 car just about spun out
all day long to be able to win in Darlington.
It was an all-team effort. The driver did his end, the crew chief did his end, and the crew did theirs.
And Ward Burton has just kissed the wall lightly with the right front of his Net Zero Chevy and will not post a time.
I was just going to say, Manny drove that thing down into turn 3 hard, and he did, but the problem is he didn't come out the other side.
Now, he did take the green flag, but did not complete the lap. Well, he will when he rolls across the line here.
I tell you, he didn't even knock the lettering off the tire, so
no.
he didn't hit the wall very hard at all.
And that car was headed to, no, it wasn't. How do you say headed back in first? It was going for the wall. Let me tell you that. And Ward did a great job of minimizing the contact.
Darrell, I think we underestimate the speed of this racetrack. Right there in the center of the corner, you pick the throttle up, and the minute he picked the throttle up, car just comes around with him.
He was really, really free getting into turn 3, and that really is, when he tried to get back to the throttle, it just came around with him.
Let's show you this in real time. Oh, that was a save because that car was backing into the wall. That'll be little consolation to that team, though, because they'll be headed for provisional land.
You know, everywhere we go, qualifying is important. But if you've got a good race car at most racetracks, at a 500-lap race or a 500-mile event, you can overcome that. But at this place right here, after the first caution with 43 cars out there, when the leader of the race takes the green flag at the start-finish line, you're coming off turn 2. You're 3/4 of a lap down. So track position from the get-go of this race is so important. That's the reason they'd love to get this qualifying run in.
Yeah, well, you just get back in there where you know you're going to got a super huge chance of getting in a wreck, or at least getting your front end all banged up and getting the grill opening closed up to where the thing wants to run hot, and so you just got a lot of problems if you get back in the field very far.
NASCAR out there checking the racetrack right now.
Now, I recall several years ago where a driver had such a spin in turn 4, turned the car around, drove it all the way back to turn 2, relaunched and came around to run his second lap. Is that still legal, I wonder?
Well, I don't know. He's in pit. He's on pit lane, and he has crossed the start-finish line. I don't know if that triggers the clock when you're on pit road or not.
I can't see them letting him go back out there. I see right now his crew chief, Tony Furr, conferring with NASCAR.
For a fresh one, grab a Budweiser. The race is on. Derek Cope has spun coming to the flag. And that was, what was that, the white flag for Cope. He posted 1 lap, which is 6th quickest. And then he got in trouble at the opposite end of the racetrack.
15:49 backwards across the start-finish line.
I'm just not sure. Everybody's car is incredibly loose. They're all just hanging on for dear life.
You know, I can see DW's hotspot for Sunday being Sullivan County.
Good call.
I'm not far off, am I?
Did you say aerial view?
All right, Derek Cope had posted a lap of 15:49. And then here's what happened.
And you just can't save it. I mean, he's out wide. He gets off there. He gets the back end into the fence, tries to catch up with it. But as soon as he turns it to the right, she goes back to the left.
And the Arnold Development Dodge will have some work to do.
So he gets out wide right there. He's going to brush the wall with the right rear. turns to the right, and as soon as it gets a chance, he goes right around.
And just to show you how tight, that's a hard lick. They'll definitely have to go to a backup car, I would say. But just to show you how tight qualifying is here, he's only 0.4 of a second off of, right now, our pole sitter, Elliot Sadler, with all that going on.
Now you can hear him working the throttle with the engine sound there. He got loose, thing got lost traction coming up out of the corner here, and so around she went.
Darrell, I definitely think it's much warmer than it was when these guys were practicing about 2 or 2.5 hours ago. And remember, this is the first time that we've come here with the softer, grippier tire, plus with the shorter rear spoiler. We keep talking about rear downforce. You know, they're taking Jamie McMurray's car, Kirk Shelmerdine having a shorter spoiler. This is the first time we've raced here with the less rear downforce.
Makes you fast if you can hang on to it.
Water on the track, that'll take some time to clean up. Steve is with one man who had no problem on his lap.
Elliot Sadler.
Remind me to never again say we're caution-free at Bristol. Casey Kane has thumped the wall really hard in turn number 2 after contact from Jamie McMurray.
Well, let's see what happened here. I got a feeling Murray's up on the outside here. This is coming there. That hadn't happened yet. It's getting ready to.
Of course, they were battling for second place.
Ooh, he's up there. He's up there. Gosh, he was trying to give him room to get down and didn't quite give him enough room. I mean, Jamie had a run on him. Then he realized that I think Casey didn't realize he was there possibly. And that's where the spotter, that is so close right there between what the driver's decision will do and what the spotter tells you.
This is for Casey Kane's onboard camera.
And that hurts just as bad as it sounds.
Casey Kane's crew.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Baldwin, crew chief.
Of course, he comes in here 5th in points, and a pit road will be a very busy place for all.
Allowed us to be total.
We're on lap 60 or whatever it was, and I mean, it's just stupid what he did. I don't know. He got me here in my first race, and he got me again today in my first Cup race. So we'll get him back sometime soon.
All right, guys, I guess the warning is out. Obviously, we've got an issue, gentlemen.
But see how drivers are? I mean, they can remember back 2 and 3 years ago when somebody did something to them, but particularly if it's the same somebody, quite honestly, that's hard to call right there. I mean, I guess you could blame Jamie for sticking his nose, but he's got to run on.
Casey Kane climbed out of the car and looked at the replay up on the screen.
Obviously very upset.
I mean, Jeff Hammond talked about it in the pre-race. You know, you bring your feelings in this racetrack, you're going to get them hurt.
Steve?
Mike, want to follow up on Jamie McMurray. He spun trying to avoid Casey Kane. He didn't hit anything, but when he came to his team, caught it, stopped work, pushed him back, then completed their service. He dropped 25 positions in that whole scenario.
So he is now 26th out of what will be 29 cars on the lead lap when we go back to green.
Characteristics of that set of tires.
Yeah, and you may want to decide not to put those tires on Sunday.
Oh, Jeff Burton in trouble off the front bumper of Kevin Harvick.
Bobby Labonte, the 18 cars involved.
That's the battle we were just watching. Matt Kenseth was right behind him when it happened.
Poor old Bobby Labonte. I think I've seen him get in more trouble here by someone else's mistakes than maybe anybody racing here today.
Jeff Burton, that Roush team, still hunting for a full-time sponsor. And they were running well. That battle was for 17th. Burton's car is pretty well banged up, as is Labonte's. Of course, here at Bristol, those are relative terms.
Yeah, Labonte's car's got, I saw steam coming out of it. He got water coming out the right front side there, and the fender all banged in, so he's going to have some work to do.
Third caution of the day because of this.
Kevin Harvick had been couldn't keep his car on the bottom. Looks like Burton thinks he's clear of Harvick, and he comes up in front of him. Jeff was not quite clear of the 29 car Harvick.
Our points leader, Matt Kenseth, in the 17 just skimmed by.
Lucky, isn't he?
Yeah, he look like the 17 right now is going to be right in the middle of this.
It just tickles. Yeah, really lucky, isn't he?
And Schrader. Not and Schrader, and Schrader. Kenny Schrader. Kenny Schrader zipped right on through.
How many times have we said that 17 car is lucky? Oh, yeah, it's just.
Darrell, Kevin did nothing wrong.
No. The spotter either cleared the 99 up or he just misjudged.
And you know, I think Bobby Labonte felt like that Jeff Burton was going to slide down the racetrack, and he didn't, Darrell.
Yeah, he's going so fast. Not much reaction time here.
One telling point about the replay from Kevin Harvick, and I want you to listen. Kevin's often been accused of making contact, keeping his foot down, and driving through it. And for those of you who think that, in this case, he did not. He makes contact, and you hear him lift and try to keep the situation from becoming worse. Caution is out for the third time in 100 laps at Bristol. Laps since then. Oh, we were caution free until Ricky Rudd just hit the wall coming out of turn 2.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
And Casey Mears ran slam into Rudd, could not avoid him. Wham.
And Casey had been in the garage working on his car and just gotten back out there.
Yeah, it was all fixed with a new radiator. He was 30 laps down, but running competitive speed.
I heard him say it sounded like that Ricky may have had a tire problem. Sounded like he may have had a right front go down.
Casey Mears' Dodge is a mess. There's Ricky Rudd. He's okay. Will climb out of the Wood Brothers car at 1/3 distance.
Had a decent qualifying run on Friday. Qualified 15th. There you see the thumbs up from the safety worker. Ricky's okay, which we had the shot of him. He was really beginning to go backwards, being lapped by our leader, Rusty Wallace.
Well, one of the things you know that you do is that you drop that air pressure in that right front tire, and you can have a problem. There it is. It's huge.
Casey Mears was just a victim.
Caution is out. You're watching that.
Bush. That's not good feedback when you tell the crew chief there's something wrong.
Oh, yikes! That's not good.
That's.
Oh, they're spinning behind him again. The chain reaction. Caution is out as Robbie Gordon at 31 spins around.
Lonnie Stewart's got a whole bunch of damage to the right front.
That was one of those. I don't want to say Caterpillar. Well, it's Caterpillar kind of crashes. You know, the 22.
Here he goes. We might find out who the culprit was here. Tony not happy. I knew it was just a matter of time before Tony loses his cool. These pit stops are getting to him, and
he's losing it right now. And this is where your spotter comes in and say, "Look, you got a good race car, 200 laps. Calm down."
You had a good race car. You may have just wounded it pretty good.
That was one of those thigh bone connected to the knee bone connected to the not funny bone crashes. Let's show you.
Yeah, with a 32 car, you know, it looks like he had to get out of the throttle, and I can't really see enough yet. Wimmer actually just got in the back of the 32, which shot him into Tony, looked like.
And then Robbie Gordon checks up, and Ken Schrader turns him. But here's how it started.
See, the 32 gets loose. You got to get out of the gas. Here comes Tony. I don't know why he'd be mad at the 22 car. I think he's just mad. I don't think he's mad at anybody. I think he's just mad.
Well, Tony Stewart and Scott Wimmer, we're told, are going to be black flagged.
Now, that's been a long, long time since we've had anybody in the penalty box.
Of course, both these are lead lap cars.
And they wasn't hurt very badly until all this started.
Now, here's what happens to Robbie Gordon. He checks up. Ken Schrader's right behind him.
Yep, got a bump. Get the back wheels lifted up off the ground, and around she goes.
And his teammate Kevin Harvick in the 29 car just squeaks by.
Jeannie.
Little 40 car of Sterling Marlin just taking 2 right side tires. He's been fighting real loose. He hopes this will help. Steve?
Jeannie, small adjustment for Jimmy Johnson. As Larry Mack said, you can't jump the fence. A little wedge adjustment, 4 tires, and he's off pit road. Dick.
Greg Biffle into his pit right now, going to take 4 tires. Same air pressure in all of them, even though he didn't like the air pressures the last time around. He pits well back in the box so he can clear the number 38 of Elliot Sadler, who parks in front of him. To Matt.
Brendan Gaughan's Jackman just creased the right front fender. Rusty Wallace in. Looks like another solid stop by these guys. Remember, they changed tire changers again. Shuffled them on the 2. He's down and away. He's going to beat him off pit road again.
Good stop for Sterling Marlin. Good stop for Rusty Wallace.
Rusty's got to be loving this. They got a good race car. They're making great stops right now. Looking good for Rusty.
But look down on pit road on the front stretch. The NASCAR official, look at the official in front of Tony Stewart's car. He has his right hand on his head, signaling that there is an infraction by the driver. He has one finger in the air with his left hand, indicating a 1-lap penalty. And the same is going on in the 22 pit for Scott Wimmer.
I feel kind of sorry for Wimmer. I mean, I think he was a victim of circumstances. And I think he probably retaliated a little bit. Maybe he shouldn't have, but.
And let's show you what happened after the caution flag came out.
It's one of those situations where you say, man, what are you doing that to me for? I didn't do anything.
Well, Wimmer turns in front of Tony. Tony turns down into Wimmer. And I guess that's how you discuss things under caution, Darrell?
Yeah, it's just, you know, you hit me once, I'll hit you twice.
And now they'll be back in 24th and 25th position, 1 lap down.
Ooh, that's a big hit right there. Look at those cars. They were not hurt at all. Minor damage on both of them, and now they look like they've been a meat grinder.
Well, the 1-lap penalty will drop Tony Stewart presently to 4th in the Nextel Cup standings as you look at your Chevy point leaders, Dale Jr., Tony, and Jimmy Johnson. So anger management is in operation here at Bristol.
We talked about attitude, but not bad attitude.
This is what brought out the caution.
You see the 32 car, Ricky Craven. He's got to check up. Wimmer has nothing to do with back off. Here comes Tony, you know, closing fast. I can't see where the 22 car did anything wrong. Tony doesn't agree. They have a little talk here. Hit me again. I'll hit you again.
Why'd you back into me? Why'd you run into me?
Yeah, right.
Earlier, Tony Stewart was asked about drivers who take it all in stride versus drivers who get angry when things happen. What do the fans want,
They get
Tony?
tired of just the plain vanilla guy out there that just, you know, every time something happens, he just thinks he's sponsors, thinks he's car owner and crew, and smiles and has a happy day. That's not the way our sport is. I mean, when you have a bad day, it's a bad day. So don't BS everybody and say, hey, you know, I'm happy about it. It's okay. I'll be back next week. But they know we're coming back next week. They want somebody that shows their true emotion and is not afraid to show it. I think that's what our race fans respect.
And right now, guys, he's back there in 28th position, 1 lap down, and Darrell, that car, I don't think it's very good right now.
No, I don't think so either. They looked like they were trying to adjust the toe. He hit that right front pretty hard. But you know what? It's good to be fiery. It's good to have that attitude and to be cocky like that. It's got to be smart too. You don't want to take a car that could win the race and get yourself penalized like that.
But Stewart was probably more unhappy being back there in the Budweiser. The race is on.
Yeah, cover the 24 car.
We're under caution for contact between Derek Cope and the 4 of Kevin LePage.
Just got into him and lifted him up and turned him around.
Now, Greg Biffle has come in. So has Elliot Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, Scott Wimmer, who was turn 2. Jeff Green got in the back of Ricky Craven. Craven straightened up, but then Gaughan hit Green.
Oh, he got the 10 around also.
Caution is out, so Ryan Newman will get the free pass. He will get the pardon.
Lap 407, the 7th caution of the day.
And that's the second time we've seen somebody get into the back of Ricky Craven in the 32 car and cause an accident.
Harlem Globetrotters scheme there on Riggs' car. Watch first the 32 of Craven, and then it's bing, bing, bing all the way down the line. Little contact there, but Brendan Gaughan gets into Jeff Green.
Yeah, by the time Jeff Green lifted a little bit, so he didn't spin out the 32 car. Here comes Brendan and bams into the back of him, and there he goes.
Chain reaction.
And back behind that, the 10 of Scott Riggs.
It was really a victim.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
He was victimized.
I mean, Craven straightened up in the 32 car.
Oh, second time.
More help. Didn't get you last time. They'll try it again.
Actually, Brendan Gaughan did not get the 43 car. He pretty much did it by itself, it looked like, over in turn 2.
And then still couldn't see who turned Riggs. There was a car into the back of Scott Riggs. Let's watch from Bobby Labonte. Oh, it was Kyle Petty that got into Scott Riggs trying to check up.
Let's make sure about this. The 77, Brendan Gaughan behind the 43. Yeah, believe he did. Believe he did. Yep.
I think, Larry, I'd say Brendan got into it.
I'd say so.
It was by an accident, but he did get into it.
Scott, or I think Scott went to the garage. Riggs, he did. Went behind the wall. Jeff Green made a pit stop.
His car was dog tracking. It's all knocked out of whack.
7 caution flags at Bristol. And now 8 cars behind the wall. 90 laps to go. Down, continuing to fade, Matt.
70 laps to the finish. He continues.
There he goes. There he goes.
He spins around.
And Casey Mears gets caught up.
Is out
with Stanton Barrett.
I believe he's going to stay on the lead lap. He will, because remember, the field is frozen. The field is frozen.
And the leader is instructed, when you see the caution, slow down to pace lap speed.
He brought the caution that he needed, and it worked out just perfect. And Jeff Gordon will get the pardon. He'll be back on the lead lap here with about 60 to 70 laps to go.
Well, you know, you make your own luck, and he just made a whole pot full of it.
Dale Jr. spins to bring out the 8th caution of the day. I remember a race, it was a short track race, I forget where his father heard Richard Childress on the radio saying, Dale, we're about to go a lap down, we need a caution. Dale says, working on it.
Yeah.
And they got one.
Oh, yeah.
See him go off into turn 1 and 2. Thing just comes around with him. Yep. Luckily, he don't hit anything. No one hits him. In fact, almost a big mess back there with Casey Mears in the 41 and Stanton Barrett.
But, you know, he was falling back. I think he was looking for the end of the line so he could get to pit road. And fortunately, there were not that many cars, good cars behind him.
Joey Chitwood would be proud. Who's going to stop? Who's going to not? Who's going to do 2? Who's going to do 4?
And, Darrell, I just believe if I'm going to take the time and give up any track position to come to pit road, I'm going to do 4 tires. I'm not going to mess around with 2 tires.
This race last fall here, Matt Kenseth was running 15th or 16th, came in, got him 4 fresh tires, and almost won the race.
Looks like Kevin Harvick in the 29, Jamie.
Setting the stage for the run to the finish. Caution is out for the 9th time today. Stanton Barrett, the American Ford, into the wall in turn 2.
Big break for Matt Kenseth.
Bad break for Kurt Busch.
Bad break for teammate. They may end up racing each other.
Yeah, because what we have right now, with probably about 30 laps to go when we get restarted, we have Kurt Busch in the 97, Rusty Wallace in 2nd. In the 2 car, Sterling Marlin in the 40, they all are approaching that 100 lap mark on their tires. Jimmy Johnson behind them in the 48, he has about 20 less laps, but I'm going to tell you the cat to watch is back there in 5th right now, Kevin Harvick. He came to pit road just about 20 to 25 laps ago. He has the fresher tires of all this group.
And he's been working right up through there, so we got some cars back here that are going to be coming on.
Kurt Busch is saying, guys, please behave. I don't need any more cautions.
Stanton Barrett, way up top of your screen, up and into the wall at turn.
Good race car ever since they unloaded.
77.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Somebody got Brendan Gaughan.
I think it may have been Dale Jr.
I think you may be right. Now, Gaughan also had a tire rub. And he falls from 11th place to the tail end of the lead lap with 19 to go.
Well, he's got serious damage. He hit that inside retaining wall hard.
Everything's still working.
Let's see what happened here.
Got a little smoke there, but that didn't cause him that problem, I don't think.
Definitely looked like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and 8 got into the back of
Just
him.
nailed him, yeah.
He had a tire smoking, but I don't think it had anything to do with what happened.
No, that's just Dale Jr.'s got 4 fresh tires, and he was in a hurry.
Matt?
Brendan Gaughan telling his crew chief Shane Wilson the steering wheel is still straight, meaning he didn't knock the toe out on that 77 car, although there is considerable cosmetic damage to the whole nose of that machine.
Prior to that, Tony Eury and Dale Jr. have been invited to the Oval Office, DW's hotspot, for conversation. Now they'll have a little more to talk about.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't appreciate the comments about blowing off the track.
And I would say with 15 to go, they will have a company down there before it's all over.
Oh, yeah.
And Brendan Gaughan, the 77, he still is on the lead lap. Right now, we have 20 cars on the lead lap. Robbie Gordon in the 31 will get the pardon. He'll be back on the lead lap.
But if I was 77, if I was gone, I'd bring that car to pit road and work on it. They don't need to stay out there. He gets under speed, the thing will start rubbing, smoking tires, and there he comes.
He comes along with Mayfield and Labonte. Terry Labonte. Still 20 cars on the lead lap, and the question now is, can we get this race restarted?
Trouble, 88
Jarrett in the wall. And will we see the yellow? Not yet.
No caution.
Not yet.
There it is.
Caution is out with 7 to go.
There it is. See, this is what happened yesterday. Had a caution late, grouped everybody up, and then we had that wild finish.
Got any brakes? Check your brakes.
Now, when we come back around, we'll be 6 to go, and we're here. Remember the red flag lap? I just talked about it. 495.
Let's see what happened here, Larry. Wait a minute. Oh, he got together with the 22 car. Man.
All right, the pace car will pick up the field and stop them on the back straightaway. Again, we look out at 160,000 seats, and they are still all full.
No, they ain't. They're empty. Everybody's standing up right now.
Still holding on to 23rd place. And there is Dale Jarrett's UPS Ford.
These guys had fought all day long to stay on the lead lap, had a good race car. And he's still on the lead lap right now, but it's going to be very marginal doing it for these final 5 laps.
Yeah, he's going to have to stop and put some tires on the thing. They're going to have trouble getting it jacked up, so he's still got some work to do.
Scott Wimmer and Dale Jarrett get together to bring out the 11th caution of the afternoon.
The 32 car shoved him up the hill. Wimmer got under him, and then they just get that banging on it. Ooh. Looked like Dale kind of got loose and swerved into him.
Yeah, I mean, Wimmer never really moved up off the bottom of the racetrack.
Dale got loose off of 4 there and then slammed into Wimmer.
Could Jarrett's tire have been going down as he came off the corner?
Possibly cut it down that left front.
And just remember, we always talk about the inner line or safety shield. Because this is a short track, they do not run them in the left sides. They run them in the right sides, but not the left side. It's just tire and a rim.
Well, this is the middle of the 9th inning stretch. Red flag is out. The cars are stopped. Kurt Busch can sit there and think about winning 3 in a row. He's our leader.
Here looking for the 17.
And after the flag, Sauter came down and ran in the back of somebody.
Here we go. And the line will start to form.
I told you, though, office.
Here he comes. He's still got him. He's mad. Turkey, you.
And he turned him around down on the apron. You're right.
And who did Johnny Sauter get down in turn 1?
Here it's hard to tell. I mean, this racetrack, it's unlike Atlanta.
And a crash in turn 3. Backing it in is the 0-2.
And that's probably going to send him to the house, Mike, because he's one of the cars you talked about in the beginning, Andy Belmont in 02 with no provisionals.
Now, our trusty pit reporter said that he was the only cat in the first 10 or 15 there that had sticker tires. Most everybody else had buffed their tires. He was on stickers.
Story in USA Today, today's edition, about Andy Belmont. about how much he's made for each of his starts, but also how much it has cost him to run this car. He was basically breaking even until this happened.
And Darrell, it looked like the minute he went to turn that thing down into turn 3, the back end just came around with him. He got loose, and we've already documented close to 200 miles per hour at that place.
And he knows right about here that he's getting ready to take a really, really hard lick into the outside wall. Bam.
You know, Darrell, you talked about sticker tires versus scuff tires. I think one of the big reasons I talked to Mark Martin again that the guys were scuffing their tires was the fact that they were seeing a little inconsistent feel from set to set.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard them, you know, with the 3 sets they've got to use, I heard a lot of guys say, I like set 1, I don't like set 2. It's a very similar tire to what they ran at Homestead last year. The construction on this tire is about like what they had at Homestead last year. Same compound that they had at this race in last year as well.
You look at the fellows that we sometimes refer to as field fillers and what they've been earning per lap, and that money looks pretty good compared to what Kurt Busch earned for each of his 500 laps at Bristol. But of course, Busch has a $12 to $15 million full-time sponsor on this car, and that greatly exceeds the total sponsorship of the other 3 fellas in the picture. So that number of how much per lap that you earn, by the time you pay your expenses and deduct that sponsor money that you're not getting, it can be a losing proposition.
And Mike, I wish I had a better way of explaining the changes that they're making in the tires. The basketball comes to mind, you know, with the air pressure in a basketball. A friend of mine said, you mean they bounce like basketballs? No, it might even be like a bowl of Jell-O. You know, a really tight bowl of Jell-O and a really loose bowl of Jell-O.
Darrell, we see Andy moving around in the car and talking with the safety workers, and now it looks like he's about to climb out.
Yeah, what happens when you go backwards, Mike? You know you're going to wreck. You kind of have a tendency to lean forward. And when you lean forward, even though you got all these, you know, Hans, your head flies back and hits the headrest, and it can daze you for a moment.
So Andy is okay, and it's a tough day.
Yeah, he had time to think about that one. You know, he saw it, felt it getting loose with him. He had time to think about what was going to happen.
Andy's okay. Let's go back to Dick Berggren.
With the fastest man in
I'm with Ryan Newman in turn 4.
Oh, hard on the inside wall right there, Chris.
All right, Ryan Newman in trouble. Let's go upstairs.
That will bring out the caution. Darrell, you're looking right at it. He got up way up high.
I think he had something happen. Could have been a right front tire, but he just started into 3 over there, and the car just kept going. He couldn't stop it.
And Matt, he was running in the 10th position when this happened.
He climbed up to 10th. Right after that last stop, Larry Mack, Ryan came on the radio and said it feels like maybe we've got the left side tires on the right side and the right side tires on the left side. He said the car feels horrible. And then after a few more laps, actually the car feels fine now. It just felt like we were a little bit down on air pressure in the right front, but it's coming around very nicely. And then all of a sudden, you see what happens now.
Yeah, I mean, the last lap time that he ran was a good lap. It wasn't like something that happened the lap before that.
He's in the wall as we see him here at turn number 4. And with the right front down, a shower of sparks as he goes to the apron and clocks the inside wall. Ryan's okay. The caution, a tough break for Sterling Marlin, who had just made a green flag pit stop. And Ward Burton has hit the wall. Look at the right front on Burton's car. Caution is out. Tony Stewart drives through. He does not stop to try to stay on the lead lap.
Now, who is really in trouble right here is these cars, our lead cars that has made pit stops, which would be Casey Kane, Joe Nemechek, Jimmy Johnson, especially having to come to pit road twice, Greg Biffle and Bill Elliott. But what a break for people like Jeff Gordon, Elliot Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Rusty Wallace, Kurt Busch, Dave Blaney, and Casey Mears, who have not made their green flag stops.
Good call on Greg Zipadelli's part. He called Tony Stewart to drive on through. Don't stop. Caution out. And that saves Stewart. There's Zippy. And there's Ward Burton, whose car's brought out this caution. I'll show you what happened to Jimmy Johnson that resulted in a penalty drive-through.
See right there, that tire way outside of their pit box. It had to be at least, they divide the car in half, and all of the equipment, including tires and wheels, has to be back to the left side of the car before you can leave your pit box.
Wow, you can be lucky, if it can be good, and some days you can be both. Guess who's going to get the free pass? Casey Kane.
Casey?
He had made his pit stop, but he was the first car 1 lap down at the moment of caution. so he'll get to come around.
It's even a bigger break than that for him, Mike, because by coming to pit road when he did a while ago, I think we knew he could not make it to the end. Now he will pit late under this caution, get enough fuel in there as well, so not only will he be back on the lead lap, he's going to have enough fuel to probably go to the end.
He'll have to restart at the tail end of the longest line. Don't know if it's significant, but Ward Burton had just been in the pits 3 laps prior to hitting the wall and knocking him from the race. They're pushing his car back to the garage now. The right front wheel will not turn. Now the pits are not yet open, so they'll come around one more lap under caution. That will give Burton's crew a chance to push their car back to the garage and not impede pit stops.
Now, Mike, you mentioned about Tony Stewart in the 20 car. We're looking at our computer score, and even by what they did, he still went a lap down because he was so far behind the leader.
He didn't. The 9 went by him as he was going down pit road. Now, the 48, on the other hand, got out in front of the leader, which is going to keep him from losing 2 laps. That tire go down. Dick Berger.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a flat right rear for Bill Elliott.
And he's in the wall in turn 3. Caution is out, and you see the right rear was already flat.
Yeah, he was trying to get back, save as much time as he could.
Now, one of his teammates, Casey Kane, was the free pass car last time around. And we'll see about Jeremy Mayfield this time around under this caution. Elliott's tire clearly flat as he went in the corner.
I know Bill's okay, and I can't help it. I got to tell you this. When he was at Homestead last year, and I said, Bill, I saw you get out and walk around that car. What was you thinking? He said, wish I had a match.
Oh. Now, I think what's going to happen here, guys, is Mayfield is going to get one of his 2 laps back. Greg Biffle will be back on the lead lap, and Jimmy Johnson going to get one of his 2 laps back. Jimmy Johnson and Jeremy Mayfield will still be 1 lap down, but they get one of them back.
And that pass through Tony Stewart made looks like that will finally pay off because he will be the free pass car. Stewart. So caution is out for the 5th time today. What's that?
Charles is coming. Things are picking up. Business is getting ready to pick up.
I think that's his way of saying the plot thickens.
It sure does. Jeff Gordon, your leader, under caution in the Samsung Radio Shack 500.
While we're talking about cheers and boos, there are only cheers for Bill Elliott, who has just exited his car. Were you having fun out there today?
Well, I had a good time for a little while, but just unfortunate. You know, I knew I had a tire going down. I was trying to get to the back, and it just was one of those days.
This is a team, this is a driver that deserves a sponsor so that we can see more of them.
That's for sure. There's Elliott's car with the right rear down. Into the wall, taking him out of the race. His teammates, though, Casey Kane and Jeremy Mayfield. Trouble front straightaway. Wimmer and Mayfield get together. Hard contact. Everyone else will get through. The caution waves again.
Anybody get a lap back there, Larry?
Well, I think Jamie McMurray in the 42 car may get the part, possibly, back on the lead lap. We'll have to find out from NASCAR.
But no one was ahead of race leader Jeff Gordon, I don't think, at the moment.
That'll be it to us. Guys, let's see what it looks like there.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick in the 29 was close, but now he's 2 laps down, but I don't think he's going to get anything out, because remember, the minute that caution flag waves, the field is frozen.
We've got a saying in Texas about horses, rode hard and put away wet. That applies to both of these cars. Here's what happened on the restart. Look at the top of your screen at the Cat car.
Oh, he just got jacked up.
Got booted by Brian Vickers.
And then turned him right in front of Mayfield.
19 had nowhere to go.
Nope. Chances are that possibly, and maybe Wimmer missed a gear. Always try to think about what I'd say if something like that happened.
Riding with Mark Martin in the 6 car. That was his view.
And Jamie McMurray will be the beneficiary of the free pass. So next restart we'll have 11 cars on the lead lap. This will not be one of them. 284 laps complete in the Samsung Radio Shack 500. We're back under caution. Jeff Gordon, your leader. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.